Hello, I'm Cameron. Welcome to the Trailmix Podcast. Today I'm here with Nathan and Juan. We'll be talking about various political issues.
I guess we should just hop right into the first topic.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, does anyone oppose to marijuana legalization in this call?
No.
Not at all. But
So-
with limitations is what I'm gonna say.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, why
There's
don't
always-
you define limitations for us?
See, that's where it comes a little tricky because anything you can really say can always offend anyone, right? So, what I was thinking is like when it comes to legalization, what you want to have are set limits, as with everything, that comes.
Yeah, of course.
There's always a limit to things. Literally everything.
Yeah, but
Yeah, because it's a drug just like alcohol, you'd want to not have people doing...
who call it like people who don't call it a drug. It literally is a drug, even if you don't want it to be.
there are.
Well, what I'm saying is limitations is like the amount you can purchase per month. Let's say from a dispensary.
Okay, well
keep-
let's just play devil's advocate really quick.
Yeah.
Let's say, oh yes, you purchase this much per month, but you can also share with your friends. So what would we do about that?
I think it could be treated just like cigarettes. Marijuana has even less health
Less negative
benefit.
effects.
Yeah, it has less negative effects than cigarettes, and we let people buy as
And
many
little-
cigarettes as
not
they
really.
want and smoke them as much as they want and share them with whoever they
Yeah.
want, so long as they're at least of legal age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, like
um,
and to like legal age, of course, is like what is the appropriate legal age we're talking about here?
Obviously 21 because, well, I would actually want it to be 25 because of the fact that's when your brain is fully developed and it won't mess with that. But at the same rate, I feel like alcohol shouldn't be legal with that at least until you're 25 because of the fact your brain's not fully developed. And can I also just say, I love how cigarettes, you can buy them at 18. You could destroy your lungs and your brain at 18, but you need to be 21 to drink.
Well, actually, I'd say that it's more risky for minors to drink alcohol because...
Okay, well, does alcohol give you cancer?
yeah, it can give you brain
Liver cancer.
and liver cancer.
But like as quickly
Yeah.
of the rate as
Yeah.
cigarettes?
It doesn't
Like,
give you
it's
as
not-
quick of a rate of cigarettes, but you could give yourself lethal brain damage in under an hour if you drank alcohol fast enough.
Well, yeah, of course, that comes with these things, but like
Yeah, like
cigarettes
negative
also have
effects.
nicotine in them. Alcohol
Yeah.
doesn't.
Oh, nicotine doesn't really have anything that's necessarily
No,
bad for your
It
health.
doesn't. It's not bad for
It's
your
just,
health at all. Except for the
addictive.
fact that it's extremely addictive.
Yeah,
which
it's the other
the-
chemicals that are in
the
cigarettes
user-
that are
let's-
disbenefit.
Let's say that you become addicted at 16 or even 17 and you start smoking a pack a day for the rest of your life. That could add up so quickly. And people start at these young ages, and it's just terrible. But with marijuana, it doesn't affect like your lungs in any way because it's like 70% water vapor. But at the same time, it can mess up your brain. It's almost like driving drunk. Like if you were
Okay, just to be clear, marijuana doesn't have the same kinds of effects that alcohol does. It doesn't
No,
disorient
no,
to the degree where you shouldn't be driving. In fact, it's actually quite safe.
it can be. It can be. That's what I should say.
So
because
you
it
smoke
depends
800 joints.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if you get let's say 100% sativa or 100% indica, it can affect your body differently,
Yeah. Yeah.
It does with everyone though. That's also a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know how it's going to affect people.
No,
Although,
but like driving under the influence of marijuana, absolutely illegal. If
Oh, yeah,
No.
of course. I feel strongly about that. I feel
well, if you ask me, I wouldn't say that it should be illegal to drive under the influence of marijuana because it's not illegal to drive under the influence of cigarettes, and nicotine is it gets you high if you smoke enough cigarettes. Like a pack
Well,
can get you pretty fucking high.
quote unquote buzzed is what kids are using nowadays.
So to be honest, other than the obvious laws that might have to be implemented for driving or other things that require high amounts of focus. I'd say that marijuana should be just completely legalized with no limits on buying it, just like cigarettes or alcohol, except for the age.
Yeah, I agree. But also, actually, no, I fully agree with that statement because, there's literally no limit on cigarettes and alcohol. Actually, is there? I think there's a limit on alcohol. I'm not sure though.
No, there's not.
There's not. There's a couple things like there's no public
Oh
drunkenness
yeah,
and things like
public
that, but
intoxication. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but like, there's what I'm thinking of is also for like marijuana was to be legalized. Let's say every state and there's dispensaries all across the country. Regardless, there should be a track, like some sort of computer system that tracks how much you buy. It should not be a limit, but how much you buy. Because let's think about what's happening with Juul here. Juul is being distributed to high schools across the country. How? By people who buy them, who are over the age of 18.
But the people that use them are not over the age.
Mm-hmm. So, and therefore, like, you're not allowed to have one necessarily, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, to keep track of who buys excessive amounts of marijuana, I'm saying, and to see if that helps in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because if you see this one guy buy 15 joules, you need one for yourself. It's not like you need the 14 others. So obviously he's supplying something or other.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're right on that age limit where they're 18 or even like
in the low 20s.
Yeah, it just like I would consider it like a fishy or I guess I don't know. I tried really hard there, but I didn't get there.
illegitimate would be a word that would fit.
Yes, yeah, that there you go. That's a good enough word.
Do you have anything more to say? This topic looks like there's not much more to talk about, and we could bring it to a close soon.
Yeah. Well, of course, my opinion is legalize it, fully, but that might change in the years. I wish I could go to a place where it is legal and see how it affects the people. Like, let's go to Colorado for a month and track like what happens when you supply marijuana to everyone and it's just like buying cigarettes or alcohol. Let's say that, and you see the difference between them and a normal lifestyle where there's no marijuana usage at all. I want to see the difference between that, and then I can come to a complete conclusion with this,
On my list is legal suicide. How about you?
Yeah. Assisted/legal suicide.
I'm gonna no. It's a big no for me, guys.
Okay, well that's a good start. Why would it be a no for you?
It's not really the fact that nobody ever wants to stop living. All right, it's the fact that they need the correct amount of help, and regardless if they don't want the help, we have to help. Yeah, I realize I'm using the word help a lot here, but we have to assist them to find the proper requirements or assistance to really get them right back on their feet. If you have these thoughts, you should be mandated to some sort of like a counselor who keeps an eye on you, kind of like a parole officer, but that gives you a counseling session and everything like that.
I don't fully disagree with that, but I strongly disagree with that.
All right, so I can do a counterpoint to that.
Yeah, so can I. So I'll let you go first, though.
All right, so I think that suicide should pretty much be legal in every situation. It's because there's a lot of situations where someone enjoys their life less than they. What's the word? I don't know.
Like they
the opposite of enjoyment.
So yeah, like they don't enjoy it so much that like it just pains them. Like it literally pains them every day.
Oh, I've got it. Their life has more negative effects on their feeling of their emotions than it does positive.
Yeah, basically. So keep going.
Keep going.
Is that it?
That's not it. This was actually in a Superman comic. I don't read Superman, just to be clear. So some lady was on the top of the building. She was about to jump off and kill herself. And he went up there, and the whole rest of the comic was just him telling her that he doesn't think she should kill herself because he believes she will enjoy another day in her life at some point. But if she doesn't believe that, she can jump and he wouldn't stop her, even though he's supposed to be a hero. That would be his moral standpoint.
Yeah. So once again, I don't completely disagree with you, but I strongly disagree with you. I think people should really review that life, though. They should take in account. Let's say a guy's family dies. Like every single person in his family, he is the last one living, right? Like his wife, his kids, his parents, they're all gone. And he just is major depression. He got fired. He's homeless now. Do you think it should be legal? I think it should be, because he, at that point, for him, there is no point in living. He doesn't have family to support him. He lost his job. He can't make money in any way. He's living on the streets now, and he just cannot stand to live another second. Let's say that happens. Do you think that it should be legal then?
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. But if this man, let's say this man who has lost his children, has lost his mother, has lost his father, has lost his wife, does see himself, or doesn't see himself enjoying another moment in his life, is it really right to let somebody just go ahead and end it all?
Well, personally, and I'll be clear here, I don't have a moral standpoint. I'm a moral nihilist. I don't think anything is right or wrong. But from a societal standpoint, from the way society would view it, it would be okay to let him kill himself because he's most likely going to have welfare at some point in his life following that.
Anyway, but like that person, from a moral standpoint, me, I would say no. I wouldn't want him to kill himself. But if he is that unhappy that he just cannot continue living, that once again it literally hurts him to keep living. I like anyone that's been in that position or felt like they just don't belong or they don't want to continue living, they would understand why he would want to kill himself and why he would continue with that act, you know?
Alright, I want to ask you both something quick. Are either of you religious?
I am agnostic. I'm just gonna explain it. I'm gonna give a quick definition. Agnosticism, I guess. I don't really know what it's called. It's believing in a higher good, but it's not a specific person. It's a belief of something is out there. Like there might be a god, there might be aliens freaking controlling the earth or something. But there's something there. I know that.
How about you, Juan?
I am religious. I'm Christian. I do believe in Jesus Christ.
Well, we got a varied one here, huh?
Father.
I'm an atheist. Nathan is agnostic, and Juan is Christian. This is actually an interesting group, huh?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I guess that's time to move on to the next topic then.
Animal testing.
Yeah, animal testing. All right. So, what are your guys' standpoint on it?
I think that we should be able to test on animals because, well, I don't really give a shit about anything's pain. It doesn't matter to me. But
Your moral
from our societal standpoint, it benefits many humans. And since our ultimate goal as a species is just to survive and to grow, it would be beneficial.
I disagree with that almost completely because of the fact our species is doomed no matter what. Any way you look at it, unless we switch to, let's say, like clean energy and doing everything right to preserve the earth, our species is doomed no matter what. So if we continue living, so once again, I said I don't completely disagree. So I think animal testing should be okay because there's no way they could live without us. Like not all animals could live without us. That's the problem.
would be a standpoint to take, but I was going to speak on the fact that you said that humans are doomed. That's not necessarily true, because even if our Earth was completely destroyed, we have the resources to send colonies out to space and possibly live on the moon to a degree at this point, but we would end up dying out currently, but in a couple hundred years we could colonize Mars and other planets.
Okay. That's a topic way out of this. That would take way too long to discuss. But I somewhat agree and I somewhat disagree for personal reasons, but we won't talk about that right now because we don't have time for that. That's like a whole nother standpoint. But with animal testing, I really think it all depends on what the product is. You know, like, oh yes, let's test a raincoat on this puppy. Like, yeah, okay. Oh yes, let's test this pepper spray on this puppy. So you can understand why I wouldn't want to test pepper spray on a pupper, but like I would believe it's okay to test like a raincoat.
So that's not really one of the that wouldn't be involved in the issue, because no one really argues against testing harmless things on animals. It's whether or not it's morally justifiable to harm animals for our own development as a species.
Well, I'm just saying, like, let's say they're testing like hair products on an animal. I think I would stretch to say that's okay, as long as it like it's gonna be semi-harmless at least. Like if they're itchy or it irritates the skin, even I think it's okay. But I don't understand why you wouldn't just use a human. If we're talking about moral stuff, animal testing should be done on humans.
Well, that depends on your moral standpoint. That's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But the reason we don't test it on humans is because it can be harmful. We don't test raincoats on animals. We test them on humans because there's no way they can harm us. We would test hair products or medicine on, just drugs in general, on animals because they have potential to harm, and we don't want to kill people rather than animals.
Once again, it's that moral standpoint. If we're killing anything, I would rather it be humans than animals. I guess that's what I'm saying. You can hate me for thinking that. But
that's an interesting standpoint. I've never heard someone who values animal other than human life over human life. I mean,
well, it depends. If you're gonna take my cat or my mom, yes, I would say my cat. But I don't think, or let's say you're taking an animal off the street or my mom. I'm gonna pick that animal off the street, because that once again comes back to that life willingness and wants back on the line. But like, if that animal has no reason to live except it's gonna live in its life its whole life in the shelter, I wouldn't be opposed to have it being tested like on it, you know?
Quick recap for Juan here. So he says that in general there are exceptions, like if he is emotionally attached to people. He values human life in the case of animal testing less than animal life.
Let's say they are gonna take a prisoner that murdered 6 people.
Oh boy, this is a big fucking issue now.
Yeah, like if they take a prisoner, if they test on a prisoner, people won't have a problem with that really, because they're like, let's say they test on prisoners that are gonna be sentenced to death. They're already gonna die. It's inevitable. At least they could like go towards human evolution, I suppose.
I'm kind of burned out on this. Anything you have, Juan?
Yeah, it's like I don't really like. I'm kind of arguing with myself right here. I'm not trying to say that I value animal lives more over human lives. I just feel like we could do it differently and make everybody happier. All right, Juan, what are your thoughts on atheism and religion as a whole?
No. Here's my question. I want to take a little bit of a different standpoint on this too. Should you be able to force your child into religion?
Okay, first off, this is
Wow.
gonna get into the definitions of like what words you're using.
Yeah.
You said force, definitely not. If you
No. Yeah.
educate your kid in such a way that it'll be inclined to be Christian or
Yeah,
Buddhist or something, that's completely okay in my opinion, but forcing is not okay at all.
Like my parents would make me go to church sometimes, like let's say on Easter or Christmas, or if my sister or my cousin was singing in a choir or something like that, and I can see that, but they respected that I'm not gonna follow like a specific religion. They didn't force me. They didn't force me to read the Bible. They didn't force me to go to church on except for like holidays where it matters to them, which I can completely understand. But they didn't force religion upon me.
See, here's the thing with me though. Not saying it was forced upon me, but it was definitely very enforced.
Push.
Pushed slash enforced upon me as a child. Like even now, I'm still living with my parents.
How strict
So-
how strict are you on that? Like
Yeah, like
As of only as of 2 years ago, probably, and everything before that, I was probably every weekend had to go to church, or else there was some sort of punishment every weekend because they believe that's what the best for me. That's what they want the best for me.
yeah.
That's why, but like they didn't really respect my opinion of. Sometimes I didn't want to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That you didn't want to be a strict churchgoer because there's a lot of religious people who don't think that that should have to be part of their religion. How strictly do you follow your
like, are you like one of
Oh,
those people
okay.
that force religion upon people? Are you like, or do you just like, oh yeah, I'm Christian, it's whatever, I follow the
I'm a
Bible.
big. I'm a big. I'm Christian kind of guy. Like I'm not like.
You're not like
You
an
know,
advocate or anything?
no, not at all.
All right.
Not even close.
All right, I can respect people that do that with their religion if they're pushy about it. Even atheism, I hate when people do that so much. They like push it up on people. Like one of my friends from last year, I'm gonna conceal his name for reasons. Oh, it doesn't matter. He would always be like, he would make atheist jokes and like purposely do it around religious people to make them mad. And I don't get that. Like, if someone with religion did that to you about atheism, you wouldn't like that. Like, it's just like, that doesn't make any sense. I dislike it a lot. Like,
Okay, personally, I don't really care if someone makes offensive jokes to anyone. I don't even give a shit if someone makes fun of someone else. Maybe it's because I'm an asshole. Maybe it's just
yeah.
yeah. But the more pressing issue I would say would be just how do you feel about people who would try and pressure you into changing religion or becoming religious if you're not already?
I don't like that idea.
No soliciting sign on my doorstep.
um, but I also want to bring up another topic with this, like how some churches will go and just try to like make people mad, like down in California or Florida. I don't remember exactly where, but there was these preachers that would go and just be like, all fags are going to hell, if you're gay you're going to hell, and just stuff like that, like stuff that they can't change about themselves, and it's just trying to make people mad. And I don't get that.
Well, that's kind of a little different because although that sounds like they were just trying to offend people, it may have been because they believed that it is a choice because there are a lot of religious people that believe that. Just to be clear, I don't, but there are a lot of people who believe it's a choice, your sexuality is.
All right, but okay. So I once asked my cousin, a different cousin, not the cousin that sings at church or whatever. Um, I asked him if why he doesn't like gay people, and he literally says because the Bible says so. And I said, well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say that anywhere in it, actually. It's just the religion had formed upon that, and he was told that by other people in that religion. Like, he was being told that it's not okay, and his parents were, like, super Like I don't even remember the religion, because I don't mess with religion once again. But he just like that's what he believed. And even in the Bible, I'm pretty sure it says treat all equally or something along the lines of that. Juan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's somewhere along the lines of that. And I just don't get why people believe so strongly in a book that could have been made up.
Well,
That statement alone is really gonna offend some people. Just a book that could have been
Oh.
debated out, but I'm gonna respect the opinion because it could have. It could have.
very-
And my
like,
beliefs,
very well
it
could have.
wasn't.
well, hold on for 1 second, okay? The deal with the Bible is it has multiple authors, but a lot of people also believe that God was speaking through them. I'm paraphrasing. And I wouldn't. Made up would be kind of too far if you're trying to describe the Bible, because it sounds offensive for no reason.
Are we bringing to a close to that topic, or
Basically, I'm just trying to finish up. Are you, Cameron? Or Juan? Do you guys either have anything to say about this?
No, I don't have them. I mean, I have some opinions. Like, I mean, I'll say it now. The reason that people are religious, I believe this, is that, and also most of my family does, is that, it's mostly just to comfort them or some other, reason that's just personal. Not because of any actual compelling force. But that's sorta, it doesn't matter. Alright, you can continue your finishing statement.
so? Are we gonna bring this section to a close then?
Yeah, Nathan was just about to. Do you have anything else to say, Nathan?
Like I was saying, I have this one belief that all the quote unquote gods or whoever you worship have the same basic meaning, I guess, or same basic message, I should say. Like how we should all live in harmony and fall together or work together, I suppose. Like we shouldn't like fight. We should like love and talk it out. Like have you ever heard a god that's like, hey, by the way, you need to go kill people and killing's the only way?
I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with religion or anything. I just think that we shouldn't have as many wars as we do, just as a means of progression for the human race.
Yeah,
Alright.
But if the government forced us to have a religion, I think most people would fall under the category of atheism. Because
Yeah.
they just, like, a lot of people want to explore. Like, they just don't know, really. And then if someone forces you to be like, oh, hey, you should be Christian, they're just gonna be like, I don't like that. Like, when your parents force you to do chores, let's say, you don't like that, so you're not gonna want to do it when you're older, you know?
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. That's a really good point.
Alright, this topic is getting a bit meandering, so I'd say we just go on now.
Yeah, alright, well, I think that's a good stopping point, because first of all, it's way too late for me, and second of all, yeah, we got through a lot of topics, and I'm happy with that. I guess that's the end of the podcast. That was the pilot episode of the Trailmix Podcast.
Yikes.
See you later.